You are now tuned in to Owen's Exhibit. On this episode, I'm joined by Joshua. He's in the infancy of his creative journey. His streetwear brand, Klawd, has been 3 years running, and he recently left his job to pursue photography full-time. He has undergone many character developments, from being an introverted person to taking to the streets of New York to take portrait photography of strangers. We discuss the challenges of pursuing your ideas and the elephant in the room. I hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome back, listeners. This is your host, Owen Patterson. We're back today with another episode. I'm joined by guests. And on this episode, we're going to dive into some of the creative things he's been getting into. So I am going to hand it off to Joshua.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joshua. I'm 21-year-old out of Brooklyn. I made this brand called Klawd back in 2020. Klawd portfolio last year, 2022. Man, I feel like I'm just a creative. Like, I don't like to put any labels on myself. Like, I just feel like I'm creative overall. So I do it all. I do pictures, getting into videos. I do design, graphic design. I used to do web design. I could probably still do it. Yeah, I do everything.
Yeah. I feel like when you're creative, you just explore so many things. Do you feel like what you're doing now is going to be what you're doing 10 years from now? Because, like, I've had those times where I get into web design, where I get into graphic design, and I love it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know why I didn't stick with it. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that same way?
I feel like that's the thing, because stuff happens. So, like, if I get into web design or if I get into something, it's gonna change. Everything changes.
Yeah.
So, and I evolve in everything I do. So, like, in 10 years from now, I probably won't be doing much design. I'll probably be, like, behind the scenes doing more creative work.
Yeah.
Like creative direction, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Okay. We are going to get into the icebreaker questions. So, as a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
As a kid, what did I want to be when I grew up? It's embarrassing, but I think I wanted to be a train driver, like a train conductor. Mm-hmm. Basketball player, that's what everybody wants to be.
Yeah.
So I think it was mainly those two, for real.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you're not pursuing those anymore?
Nope.
Where's somewhere that you would live for a year?
For a year? I would live in Japan. Yeah. Yeah. I heard a lot of good things about Japan. It's like a great way to escape from, the things out here. If not Japan, I'd probably go back to, like, Barbados, because my family's from Barbados. I'll probably live out there for a year. Or probably Florida. I know I'm supposed to give one answer, but it's 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you visit Barbados often?
No, the last time I went was 2012. So I used to go with my grandmother, and, like, ever since her mother passed, she hasn't really been going back a lot. So I didn't really go with her. I think the last time she went was like 2016, but I didn't go with her that time. The last time I went was 2012, but I definitely want to go again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you do when you're there?
Well, when I was there in 2012, I was like 10 years old. Yeah. So my aunt had she had like a garden, like a famous garden out there, and she would basically ask for help. So I would go and, like, help water the plants and stuff like that. Yeah. So I would just, help her with her business.
Yeah. Whenever you get the opportunity to go somewhere else and see how other people live, it's really interesting. Yeah. I know coming here, it was definitely it was a completely, like, just different way of life, different speed, different atmosphere, different energy. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the energy here? Is it something that you like, you enjoy? Do you like the fast pace of things?
Well, I'm 21, so I've been living here for 21 years. Um, it gets tiring after a while, but like you start saying, well, I'm starting to now enjoy it because when I go to like another city, like I've been to Charlotte. If you, yeah, you know where Charlotte is. And people out there are like bored, like they don't have anything to do out there. So it kind of makes me grateful that I live here because it's not that much. It's not. I don't think there's any city that's like New York. It has like the culture New York has. So yeah, I'm starting to appreciate the fast pace. You know, all the people that's out here. It's a lot of opportunities out here to like network and stuff. So
Yeah. Do you think you'll live here for the rest of your life?
absolutely not.
Nah.
No.
Where's the next move? Do you know it?
I don't know yet, but I'm not living here for the rest of my life. No.
All right. Off the top of your head, where do you think you're gonna move next?
I would probably move like somewhere down south, probably like Florida or something. I
Yeah.
like it out there a lot. Like
Yeah.
it's much more calmer, and I feel like that suits my personality.
All right. I might be down there, so if you're down there, we'll link up again.
Yeah, of course.
Sick. So, do you procrastinate a lot? Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you get over procrastinating? You wait until the last minute, or what motivates you to just finally say, you know what, I'm gonna just dive into it, get it done?
I don't. That's the issue I have right now. I'm a perfectionist. I always want something to be perfect in my eyes. So I'm not gonna lie. I would like wait till the last minute, and I know it's not a good trait, but I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried anything to make it so that you don't procrastinate? Do you like set timelines for yourself that are ahead of the deadline, or like what do you do to kind of try not to leave it until the last second?
Yeah, I have like set timelines, but I don't know, like it just doesn't work for me because if I set a timeline to say, for instance, make a design, I will make this design at this certain time, and then when I'm ready to post it, I'm like, that doesn't look good, and I would take everything down and start all over again.
Yeah.
So it's like timelines really don't do it for me. So yeah, but it's something I have to get over. Like, yeah, I know it's not a good trait. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like that initial step of doing it, that was supposed to be a part of the process no matter what. So, I mean, it seems like you're approaching it properly if like you're doing it and then you're realizing, okay, I need to do it differently.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just keep on going with it.
Yeah.
How do you become better? What are some ways that you improve your skills?
Always being down to learn. Like I'm always learning. I'm always taking inspiration from people as well. People around me, like they may not know that I inspire what they do. But yeah, I always try to keep myself around people that, you know, that inspire me, and I take inspiration from them, and I get better. I, you know, figure out what they're doing, figure out all the mistakes that they made, and I try to, you know, get better from it every day.
Yeah. So just looking at other people's journeys and figuring out how you can either replicate it or improve upon it.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
That, and I do, you know, self-reflection. Like I do it through myself too. Like I figure out what mistakes I make. I'm very big on trial and error.
Yeah.
Like I feel like all the mistakes I've made, they're for a reason. Like I don't try to look down on my mistakes at all, because I feel like that, like it makes room for like negative, like you feel negative about yourself once you find out like that you're making mistakes and stuff like that. A lot of people, it brings them down, and I've witnessed it, so that's why I don't allow it to bother me at all.
Yeah. Do you have a mentor? No. If you could choose anybody to be your mentor, is there a person that comes to mind?
Famous?
Anybody.
Well, I really really, really enjoy like Kanye's work. So I'd probably say like Kanye because I feel like he's the most creative person out there.
Yeah. How do you take criticism? Do you like criticism? Do you like it given in a specific way?
It's tricky because criticism is, you should always take criticism. But like if you don't take criticism, like I feel like you're doing something bad. Like you're not doing it right. But I usually take criticism by like I would just how do I say this? Like if somebody criticizes my work, I'll, I won't be visibly upset, but I would, always keep that thought in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
And if I don't agree with what they're, criticizing me over, I would still do it my way, but I'd still be open to, what their issue of whatever I'm doing is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you like people being like very direct with things, or would you rather have them just kind of like point it out nonchalantly?
No, be direct.
Be direct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do appreciate that too.
Yeah.
Where do you find peace?
Like physically?
Just take it how you will.
Taking pictures, like doing my photography, that always like gives me peace. Like every time I have an opportunity to shoot and go out the house and shoot, I always feel at peace because I feel like I'm doing something that I love and I'm doing something that I'm good at. So
yeah. When is a time that you got out of your comfort zone?
Well, this last actually no. Last time I got out of my comfort zone. Okay, so back last year, like September, I started my photography brand, Klawd Portfolio, and I wasn't really a talkative person. So every time I would like go outside and take pictures, people would always, every time I would go out and take pictures, like people would always come up to me and be like, oh, what kind of camera is that, blah, 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 blah. And, I would be all distant and I wouldn't really talk much, but I wanted to like, since I want to build like a community and stuff, I wanted to make a series where I can go up to people and take their pictures like on film. And I kind of wanted it to tell a story. So I had to get out that comfort zone of, walking up to people and talking to them and like interacting with them. So yeah, that was a big like changer for me because it changed from the introvert shy person that I was into what I am right now. And like I can do it with ease like right now.
Yeah.
So I've came a long way in that aspect.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you went out shooting? Like, do you remember like the first interaction you had? What was that like?
Do I remember the first time? I don't, because I've done a lot.
Yeah.
But
how often would you say you go out shooting now?
How often? At least twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about like random people?
Just
like,
going to take pictures.
Yeah, like twice, 3 times a week.
Okay.
Recently it's getting down because I'm doing the clothes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do it like 2-3 times a week. I just did it last week when I went in Soho. I went up to people and I took their pictures. But yeah, it's something that I want to, make it very, very like, I want to do it like every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And the last icebreaker question is, what is your favorite movie theater snack?
Popcorn. Popcorn has to be.
With butter, or are you just taking it straight how they give it to you?
Butter.
With butter.
Extra.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Let's get into the next section of questions. So, were you inspired by anyone around you to create?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Can you name anybody in specific that you were inspired to create by?
Well, does it have to be like family or could it be like anybody on Instagram
yeah.
and stuff? Okay, so yeah, like that whole Josiah Powers movement.
Mm-hmm.
It every time I go, it's like very inspiring because you see all these kids my age that are doing like big things, and it's just like just going there is inspiring.
Yeah.
So them, yeah, all the photographers I've worked with, they inspire me a lot. There's a lot of them, but every time I shoot, every time I go out to shoot with them, like I always learn, I always visualize what I can do, and it inspires me each and every time I go out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And what forms of creative expression do you use?
Like photography, design.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big on those two for now.
Yeah.
I want to get more into videos, like doing videography. So that's gonna be another, hill that I gotta climb.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mm-hmm.
How do you think you create an advantage when there's already like so many photographers and videographers out there?
I feel like you just have to be different. Because I've noticed, like in photography specifically, everybody just does lifestyle photography. Like you just go out during the night, you have your flash, and then you just shoot like people in prom dresses and stuff like that. Like I feel like that's basic. Like I do stuff like that for practice, and I want to do something great, like out of the norm. Like nobody does it at all. So I want to tap into that side. Getting all my equipment. Yeah, it's gonna happen soon though, like very very soon.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
What are you doing to be different from everybody else?
Well, give me a second. What am I doing differently? I would say, like, just like my visuals, like, I feel like I have a different eye than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, through my work, it's not visual right now, but what I'm seeing in the future for myself is crazy. Like, I already know it's going to be different and it's going to be fresh and then everybody's going to like it. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What projects do you want to do? What do you have in mind for some of the things that you want to create and put out there?
Well, I had this drop that I came out with on the 22nd, and I want to continue that same design with different pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I already have stuff brainstormed for like the winter that I really want to do. As in terms of like photography, I just want to work with more models. Yeah. And really tap into my creative side with photography for real, because I don't feel like I'm really there yet. So yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing this under the name Klawd. Mm-hmm. How did you come up with that name?
Okay. So back in 2020, pandemic time, I felt like I was buying a lot of like Supreme, Palace, all those streetwear brands, and I like one day I was just sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, why don't I just come up with something myself? Like I feel like I have the talent to create something that's on their level and even better. So I named it Klawd because I feel like I was just getting my thoughts out there, like expressing myself. And in the main like design of the Klawd logo, it had like claw marks on it. Mm-hmm. So it's like I would claw my way out of, being not so much an introvert, but like not having my creative thoughts out there. Mm-hmm. And I want it to be like a form of expression. Yeah. And like a form of creative expression and just getting my thoughts out there, my creative thoughts out there. So that's why I came up with it. Yeah, and I've been rocking with it since.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Klawd.
Yes.
So you drop the C and you drop the E.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I guess, how do you go about creating designs? What are your initial steps?
Well, I like to take pictures of things that I like and things that I feel is gonna inspire me. I use Pinterest. I use a lot of sites, and I would like take screenshots. And I wouldn't like necessarily copy and paste and just design it like that, but I would try to come up with a way where I can make it unique, like to me. Mm-hmm. And I, just go off of that and I design it. And like I said, like I would design it and then I would not like it. So then I'll come back and then make a different design, but like using that same concept. So yeah.
Yeah. How have you been able to kind of like convey to your audience that your brand is like about like getting out of your comfort zone, about like, reaching out and trying to do more than you limit yourself to previously? Like you said, you were trying to like claw yourself out. How do you like convey that to your audience? Because it definitely seems like branding is something that you take an interest in. How have you been able to kind of convey this message?
I feel like I do that more so through my photography.
Yeah.
Just looking at my page, looking at how creative it is, how diverse it is in, not design, but just like visuals. I feel like that can inspire, like you can look at that page and it'll inspire you to create something like that, something different. I've had people come up to me and be like, oh, your page is really nice. I had someone come up to me and ask if they can, work under me, stuff like that. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's sick. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's an elephant in the room we got to talk about.
Yeah.
You recently decided to leave your job.
Yes.
Why did you decide to do that?
Because I feel like creatives need space and they need time, and I felt like I didn't really have that. So I wanted more time to myself to think about what I want to release, what I want to do, and just like work more in my field. So yeah, I felt like that was essential, and doing that can make me could help me build more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. For me, usually when I decide to break away from something, I try to use it as a way to motivate myself to be like, look, this is the only plan. This is the plan I have outlined. I got to go forth with it because there's nothing else. There's nothing else to fall back on. Mm-hmm. Do you look at that the same way?
Exactly. I'm the type of person to be like, oh, if I do this, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't have any doubts. Mm-hmm. I don't want any other plans. I want it to be that main plan. Like, this is gonna blow up. Like, that's how I think.
Yeah.
I never say I never say never. I never say if this happens. I always say when, because I know it's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So that's how I just think.
And do you feel like you have a lot of pressure riding on you to like make it happen?
Pressure from myself? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not from
How do you deal with that?
Just work.
Just work.
Yeah.
Just keep going and try to distract yourself from that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And for
not necessarily like distract myself from the pressure.
Yeah.
It feeds me. Like,
it feeds you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I take it and it motivates me.
Yeah. For some reason, for me, it's always, those first moments where you feel like the pressure and you really feel that drive to make stuff happen. Mm-hmm. Once you have like made the transition from like working and doing some creative stuff to fully doing like creative stuff, you feel that like jolt of energy. Mm-hmm. And then as time goes on, obviously that kind of like wears down. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so how am I going to keep up this energy? Like, is it what if I decide like, I want to go back, and what if I decide that maybe the path that I'm on, I wasn't meant to be here yet. You don't feel like, oh, okay, like that's not, do you feel like that's an option? Do you feel like you have the option to go and stray away from the things you've committed yourself to?
No, not at all. But I've been doing this for 3 years, and when I first started, we didn't have jobs because we were in a pandemic. So I was just doing this myself. Like, I was by myself every day, just working on this all the time. So I'm already used to it. I've had a lot of creative blocks where it's just like, I don't feel like working. I know I don't have any ideas flowing, but I realized like you could just work through it. And yeah, I've been working through it ever since. And like my spirit, like with this whole Klawd thing, has never died down.
Yeah.
And I love that about me and how I think and stuff. Yeah.
What has been the most challenging thing to navigate?
As in terms of
life or the projects that you've undertaken?
The most difficult thing is probably like setting up projects and stuff like that. Because I feel like executing it is easy, and executing it is like the most fun part. But like setting it up, getting every idea together, jotting every note down, that's like the hardest part for me. I just feel like organizing all of that is challenging, but when you get it done, it's worth it 100%.
What percentage would you say is setting everything up? What percentage of time does that take up?
Probably like half, like 50.
Half?
Yeah.
Huh. I would say for me, it's like 90% setup, like 10% like execution. I don't know if that's because the way I look at it is like you gotta have everything figured out so that when it's time to make things happen, like everything's gotta be lined up right.
Yeah.
What would you say you do to prepare yourself for projects?
What do I do? I don't know. I just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have a method, prepare. Yeah.
What do you do when something goes wrong? Like, or when is a time that something's gone wrong, and how have you fixed it?
Okay, so quick story. I've had a shoot that I had to do, and like I had somebody that I wanted to do it for. I mean that I wanted to do it for me.
Yeah.
And short story, but he couldn't make it. Stuff happens. So my literal, like, when I first started out Klawd, I wanted to learn every aspect of my business, just in case things like this happen, and I can take over because I know what I'm doing. And that happened, and I took over, and like things went well.
Yeah.
So whenever things go wrong, I feel like I always have an advantage because I know what I'm doing in every single field that I'm working in. So.
So what are some other ways that you're gaining exposure for your brand?
By doing things out of the ordinary. Because last week I went out to Soho and I walked around with a clothing rack, and I've got so many people's attention. I got some sales from it. But the main thing is like I just want exposure. I just want people to see what I do. So that was a goal, and I feel like I accomplished it. But it can be like on another level.
Yeah.
Like doing things on a higher scale. In similarity to like going out and walking out with a clothing rack.
Yeah.
Or like, I just feel like visuals is everything, because you can go out and sit down, blank table, have shirts, and you probably get some sales. But like if you're doing something different, say if like you have models with you walking around the city and everybody's wearing a shirt, and you're walking around with like a clothing rack and stuff like that, people are going to be interested. That's going to catch people's eye.
Yeah.
And you could do that, and you can get way more sales than just sitting down at a table. So, yeah.
What do you think you like most about those ideas? You like that you get to see the interaction in person? You like that you get to see like the conversion of like a stranger to a follower on the spot? What do you like about that sort of marketing and exposure?
Yeah, I just like the fact that I can talk with people and they can give me their opinion. I've got criticism.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that they're, giving me criticism. They're being honest about the product, or if they like it or not. But it's just the fact that people are interacting with me about the product shows me that they're interested in it some way. Because even if you give criticism about it, like, you're still talking to me about the product. It still caught your eye. So yeah.
What type of criticism have you gotten?
Well, I get criticism all the time about my designs. Oh, it would look better on this color, but I can't make every color.
Yeah.
So I just take it as a suggestion. And if I like the criticism that I get, I'd probably, consider doing what they like, not doing, but like consider it being, an inspiration to do something different, I guess. Yeah.
So the way that you design your t-shirts is pretty much you pick, like what blank you want to use, and then you find someone who can do like the screen printing. And have you ever thought about investing in the equipment to do it yourself, like everything yourself?
Yes, but I don't have the space. But when I get the space, I most definitely will start doing that myself. In the future, I would love to do cut and sew myself, but that's a process, and I'm not ready for that right now. But when the time comes, most definitely I'll do that. I'll do the printing, everything.
Yeah. Have there been any ways that you've like experimented with making clothes? Do you, do a lot of like 3D rendering on your computer, or do you like take a t-shirt, tear it up, rip it up, start, marking it up? Like, how do you do any prototyping?
I do a lot of mock-ups on my laptop.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily cut up t-shirts and stuff like that, but I would go out to, like, say, the fashion district in the city, and I would go and feel different fabrics, different materials and stuff like that. I would also look at the high-end brands that I buy. I would look at their quality, and I would look at what they're doing, and I would try to, like, not necessarily duplicate it, but I would try to make it look like I can do it, but put my own twist to it.
Yeah. And you are talking about like going to the garment district. What's that like? Like, you just like pop into stores and they have like textile samples?
Yeah. So I went yesterday, and they just have like samples out to feel, to purchase and stuff like that. I haven't really found a great store yet, but I feel like in time it's gonna come. I'm very big on my quality now, because at first I just wanted a product out there, but now I feel like quality is everything, and it'll help make the clothes look better too.
Yeah. So
yeah, I feel like I get things online, but I feel like once I find that person in person that makes good quality products, I'll most definitely tap into them.
Yeah. When we first talked, you told me about how you had found the t-shirt, and then you had ordered the sample for it, and then you had worn it for a while. Do you anticipate doing that with all your products, doing some wear testing?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What did you find? Did you have to go through a few t-shirts before you settled on this one? What was the process?
I mean, it was time consuming, but I feel like it was worth it, because my last drops before probably last year, I didn't really care about the quality, so I would, order regular Gildan t-shirts, and I'd wear them, like I'd print them and I'd put them out and I'd wear them, and like they would basically fall apart after a while. So I wouldn't want that to happen, to my consumers. They buy my stuff and they fall apart. So I wanted, just try it out for myself, see how it, and be realistic with it. So,
What's a brand experience that you want to try to replicate? Are there any brands out there that you've really kind of admired and you're trying to do the same thing?
Stussy. I really like Stussy. And how they do, everything. I feel like they have good quality t-shirts, they have good quality hoodies. The designs they always hit. And I just feel like, their stuff is dope. So
yeah. What's your experience with that brand in particular? Do you find that, you just kind of like their designs, or maybe is it the fact that it's a combination of things? Like, what is it for you that really draws you to that brand?
I like their designs, but at the same time, as a creative, as a photographer, I really like their marketing, and I really like how they put out their stuff. Put out pictures of what they want to release, how they take the pictures, basically like the whole aesthetic of the brand.
Yeah.
I feel like it's fire. It's like a streetwear surf brand.
Yeah.
I feel like that whole aesthetic is perfect.
Yeah. How would you describe your brand?
Right now, I feel like it's low key. I feel like, I'd say it's low key. I'd say it's, it's not where I want it to be at all. But with, the tools that I'm getting, with the people that I'm meeting with, it's going to get there in some time. And I'm going to be completely honest. Like, it could get better, like, a lot.
Yeah.
Everything that I do can get better.
Yeah.
So.
What identity do you want to build with the brand?
I just want people to, because I actually, like, saw people wearing my clothes, like, a couple months ago, and that made me feel, like, amazing.
Yeah.
Even, like, I'm not even in it, like, for the money, per se, like, a lot. And I just feel like people wearing my stuff, wearing my designs, just appreciating what I put out is fire. And I want it to be like, people look at my brand and be like, oh, this brand is cool. I'd want to wear, like, they look at my brand like they look at a Supreme or like a Palace.
Yeah.
Like, something that's unique and stylish and, it's comfortable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who have you found support from along your journey? I'm sure it's been not that easy, considering, it seems very, very new to have, like, so many creative people out there, also people starting, like, brands. Mm-hmm. Do you have a lot of support? Do you have a lot of people kind of guiding you and helping you out?
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of family and friends that help me out and support. As in terms of everybody else, I feel like I have great amount of support as well. And it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
So,
Who do you get support from? And how do they support you?
They support me by buying.
By buying?
They support me by promoting with me. They support me by going out and doing the work, like selling and stuff like that. But it's mostly like my friends and my family.
Yeah.
And then, the other people just buy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What type of support do you appreciate the most?
Sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's the goal, but, like, you have to get sales if you want your brand to keep growing. So, but I do appreciate the helping promote as well, because I make all the posters myself. So when you promote it, it makes me feel kind of good because I design it myself as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems like you have a very kind of different look that you're going after. I guess I'm just trying to figure out, what that look is inspired by. Mm-hmm. What do you find inspiration in?
I find inspiration in the things around me. So I actually find a lot of inspiration from posters.
Yeah.
So I would look at posters and I would see what I like, and I would try to, make a design based off of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'd look at what other people are wearing, and that inspires me as well. And I would look at that and I'll try to make something that I feel is fresh, and I feel like people can wear with their outfits.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you look for posters on Pinterest? Do you look for posters out on the streets? Where do you find these posters?
Everywhere. I look on Pinterest. I found one. I was getting a ride and I saw one on the corner of the street, and I just took my phone.
Yeah. That's sick. Mm-hmm. Are they usually Music posters. What type of posters do you usually find?
Not necessarily like music posters, but kind of like streetwear signs. I mean, not streetwear, like street signs too. Like it'll be like, "Don't park here" or something like that. But it'll have like a whole bunch of graffiti and stuff like that on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would use that. Yeah, not necessarily music posters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. What is one of your favorite creations?
This T-shirt.
This T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because of the amount of time you put into it, or what?
That and how it's perceived. Like the people like how it, like they love the quality. Yeah. People will stop me on the street and that's yeah. So like they love the quality, they love how it feels, they love how it looks. They said they love the color, like the gray in it, all of that. So I feel like I've accomplished a lot with this drop, but I still want to get better.
So tell me about your first drop. What was that like?
My first drop was June 2020. I dropped these brown tees and I dropped these, what were they, brown and white. Yeah, these brown and white tees. And everybody online was like, "Oh, these are dope. Oh, I would get a tee." And I dropped nothing. I probably got like one from my friend. And I'm not gonna lie, it got me, a little down. But when you just, I don't know, like.
What was the build up to the drop? Like, how many weeks did you announce it? Like, what was the build up before you dropped?
So the build up before I dropped, I was running ads on Instagram, and I just kept pushing it. I just kept trying to push it. I had people trying to push it with me. I had a lot of people share. And that's the thing too, like when you start off a brand and you get a lot of exposure and stuff online, a lot of that does not translate into sales, like a lot of it. So you just have to like try to figure out how you can get people to buy. Like it's challenging, I'm not gonna lie, because like I said, a lot of people support and then nobody would buy.
Yeah.
So
how many pieces did you make?
How many pieces did I make? I don't think I made them. I think I made like 20 in all. And I sold like one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what were your feelings towards that?
I was sad at first, but it pushed me to do, more and to get better. So the next drop I sold more, and then the next drop more, and then it just kept getting,
Yeah. So what did you take from that first drop to improve your second drop?
What I take from my first drop to improve my second? More so how I like marketed and like how I took the pictures. Cause I actually, fun fact, I actually got into photography because I wanted my marketing to be better. Like I wanted people to look at my stuff and look at it like from a professional standpoint. And just getting into photography and like, taking better shots. Every drop that I have has better photography in it. So I feel like that, I implemented that from my first drop to my second, to my third, to my fourth. So yeah.
Yeah. What's the craziest interaction you've had taking pictures?
You know what's funny? I've never really had like a crazy interaction.
People are pretty chill?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the craziest outfit you've seen?
So this guy, his name is, Wisdom on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was walking in Soho with my friend. I was walking down the street taking pictures of people. And I seen this dude with the red, the big red boot.
Yeah.
I seen this dude with those. So I'm like, huh? But like the outfit, I didn't really like the outfit. But he was wearing it. He was just walking down the street. And I just went up to him. I took the picture. And yeah, that was kind of the craziest outfit I've seen.
Yeah. I want to know, what do you want to be known for?
Me personally? You know what's crazy? I don't even want to be known. I just want my work to be known. So, yeah, I just want Klawd to be known for real.
Yeah. And what do you want people to know it by?
What do you mean?
Do you want people to look at it and be like, wow, this is very unique? Like,
Yeah.
how do you want people to perceive your brand?
Yeah. Looking at it and be like, yeah, this is unique. This is different. I want it. Yeah.
And I guess we're kind of rounding out the questions. Is there anything that you really have in mind that you want to kind of talk about?
Yes. It's a lot of big things coming from me. I feel like I'm working on stuff that's going to be different, stuff that's going to be, next level for me. I always feel like I said this like 10 times this whole podcast, but I feel like I can get better. So I'm going to get better, and I'm going to release stuff that's, better, do better marketing, do better promotion, everything. So it's big things coming in photography and in Klawd the brand. So
that's wonderful to hear.
Thank you.
To finish out the episode, how can people connect with you and stay up to date with what you got going on?
Klawd NYC on Instagram, Klawd NYC on Facebook, but I'm mainly on Instagram and KlawdNYC.com. So that's KLAWD NYC on Instagram, KLAWD NYC.com.
Dope. All right, I'll have those linked in the episode notes, and I really appreciate you showing up and talking about what you got going on.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah.